Harry thought everyone would have a fun weekend together at a shooting party. This was a normal thing for him to do. He expected his friends and Meghan to get along just fine, but that is not what happened at all. It was actually the complete opposite. Harry felt like he had nobody to lean on or trust. In the end, that is where Meghan stepped in to help. Harry was a man who seemed to have many needs. Meghan was a woman who knew exactly how to help him with those needs. Some people think they have been allowed to get away with too much for too long. Now, a big secret is finally being told, and many people are glad to see the truth. A famous writer named Tom Bower just shared some news that is like a giant explosion. This news could change everything we thought we knew about Harry and Meghan's marriage. Tom writes books about the royal family. He says there is a secret rule hidden deep inside their marriage papers. If you look at page 14 in section number 7, there is a special clause. Harry signed this paper, but he did not really understand what it truly meant. Once you hear what the paper actually says, 3 big things will start to make perfect sense. First, it explains why Meghan hired a special PR company called Sunshine Sachs again in January 2026. This company is famous for doing one very specific job. Second, it explains why she has been moving money around and starting her own separate businesses since the year 2022. Third, it explains why Tom Bower is warning everyone that Harry could lose everything he owns. The marriage agreement that was supposed to keep them both safe might be the very thing that ruins IM if Tom is right about the timing. Then time is already running out for Harry. Before I explain exactly what is in that secret rule, please make sure to click the like button. You should also subscribe and turn on your notifications. What I am about to tell you is going to be a huge surprise. Trust me, you do not want to miss a single part of this story. Let's look at the facts. Tom Bower is not just some person sharing rumors on the internet. He is a very serious investigator who worked for the BBC. He has spent 40 years finding out the truth about powerful people who thought they were untouchable. He has made it his job to find secrets that other people are too afraid to talk about. Tom Bower has found huge secrets inside the marriage of Prince Harry and Meghan Markle. In the past, he brought down a very powerful media boss named Robert Maxwell. He also asked tough questions to a man named Mohammed Al-Fayed when everyone else was too scared. He even showed the world exactly how Simon Cowell built his big TV empire. When Tom Bower writes something, it is very important. He is not just looking for clicks or trying to become famous on social media. He is the kind of person who spends many months or even years putting a story together. He looks for the real truth while other people are just repeating what they heard online. For his book called Revenge, Tom did not take any shortcuts. He did not just look at Twitter or read gossip magazines. He actually talked to more than 80 people who worked with Meghan. These were not just random people. These were workers at the palace who were there every single day. They saw exactly what happened behind closed doors. He also talked to people in Hollywood who saw how Meghan worked in the movie business. They knew how she made friends and how she managed her life before she ever met Prince Harry. These were real people telling real stories. They were not just anonymous people on a computer. These sources saw the decisions being made and understood the plans. So when Tom says he has seen the details of the marriage agreement, he is not just guessing. He has done his homework. He talked to people who understand how these legal papers work. He also spoke to people from Meghan's past. They saw how she handled her first divorce. They said that what is happening with Harry looks very familiar to them. That is why Tom's words are so important. While other people are just guessing based on photos or smiles, Tom has real facts from real people. And what they told him about page 14, clause 7, makes everything clear. Most marriage agreements or prenups are pretty simple. They just list who owns which things. They decide how to split money if the couple breaks up. But royal prenups are a whole different thing. They are not just about bank accounts. They are made to protect property that has belonged to the king and queen for hundreds of years. They also control what happens to titles, like if someone can still be called a duchess or a princess. They have strict rules about how a person must act in public and what they can say to the news. Harry and Meghan said they moved to California to spread love and kindness. But they ran into a big problem: California laws. In California, the rules are very clear. Anything a couple earns while they are married gets split right down the middle 50-50. This includes big money from Netflix, Spotify, or book deals. It even includes some types of money they might inherit. Their agreement had to find a way to follow royal rules and California laws at the same time. This is where things got very interesting. This is the part that is really wild. According to Tom Bower, this agreement was not just about money. It was about who gets to control their whole story and their brand. It even includes the book Spare that Harry wrote. All of this is part of one specific rule. Tom says it was written very carefully to help Meghan. It says that she is the business manager for all their big deals. Under the law in California, this gives her the first right to the money and the business. She is not just Harry's wife in these deals, she is the boss of the business. But there is something even more important. This rule was not in the first paper they signed when they got married. It was added later in a secret update. Tom says they signed it quietly without telling anyone. Tom says Harry signed it without reading it very carefully. He trusted his wife completely and thought she was doing what was best for both of them. He put his name on a paper that might end up costing him everything he has. The rule that decides their whole future was added after they were already making big money. Updating a marriage agreement is actually something many people do. Couples change them when they have kids or buy a new house. So when Harry and Meghan updated theirs in 2020 after they left the royal family, nobody thought it was strange. They were moving to California and signing giant deals with TV companies. It made sense to change the paperwork. But this update was different. Tom Bower looked at how Meghan handled her first divorce from a man named Trevor Ingleson. People who were there said she was very careful about every single detail. She would read every line of a paper many times. She asked questions about words she did not know. She did not just have one helper, she had a whole team to make sure everything was perfect. These people said she was not being difficult, she was just being very smart. She wanted to make sure her future was safe. She learned a big lesson from that first divorce: always protect your own money and your own career. It worked perfectly back then, and she walked away with no problems because she had planned ahead. Now, if you look at what happened with Harry, the timing looks very suspicious. They signed a huge deal with Netflix in late 2020. Then Spotify gave them a big offer. They also started their own company called Archwell. Lots of money was coming in from everywhere. Right in the middle of all this, they signed the update to their marriage agreement. California law already said Meghan would get half the money, but Tom Bower says this update gave her something even better: control. Her name is first on all the business papers. She is the main person for the Archwell company. There is a rule hidden in the papers that says she owns the whole brand if they ever break up. People who worked with her before say this is exactly how she has worked since 2013. She is very good at it. When Meghan left her first husband, she had one goal. She wanted to leave with everything she owned. She did not want any shared money or reasons to keep talking to him. She wanted a fresh start with her career and money safe. She did it perfectly. Then in 2017, when she started dating Harry, she hired a company called Sunshine Sachs. This company is not like regular publicists who help people get on magazine covers. Sunshine Sachs is famous for helping people when a famous marriage is ending. They are the experts people call when a breakup is going to be messy and they want to look good to the public. They helped Katie Holmes when she left Tom Cruise. They know how to control the story so their client looks like the good person. Meghan hired them right as her relationship with Harry became serious. They worked together for a long time. Then in 2020, they suddenly stopped working with the company. They told the media they were just trying to save money. But Tom's sources say that was not the real reason. The real reason was that Meghan wanted to control everything herself through Archwell. Now fast forward to January 2026. Meghan has hired Sunshine Sachs again. They are back on her team after being gone for years. Anyone who knows how famous divorces work knows what this means. You don't hire these experts after a breakup becomes public news. You hire them months before you tell anyone. You get them ready so they can tell the story the way you want it told. They help you get people to feel sorry for you before anyone even knows there is a problem. The fact that she hired them back in early 2026 shows she might have a plan. Everyone heard the news that Netflix paid Harry and Meghan $100 million. That number was everywhere. But Tom Bower says that is not exactly true. That money was not just sitting in a bank account. It was the most they could earn if they finished every single project. But they did not finish everything. Their documentary about their lives was a big hit, but Meghan's cartoon show called Pearl was canceled before anyone could see it. Other shows just disappeared. Industry experts told Tom that the real amount of money they got was closer to $40 million. That is still a lot of money, but it is much less than $100 million. So where did that money go? Starting in 2022, Meghan began to separate her money from Harry's money. She did it quietly so most people would not notice. Her new business, American Riviera Orchard, is owned only by her. She filed papers for trademarks with only her name on them. She started going to business meetings by herself in Los Angeles. She was building her own world without Harry. Tom says this is the same plan she used before. She builds her own independence while she is still married. She locks down her own money so nobody else can touch it. She slowly cuts the ties so she can walk away clean. She even started separate companies with her own team of people. Some people say they have millions of dollars in debt, but Tom says this might be a special way to move money around. They are protecting their big house under California laws so nobody can take it. Experts who talked to Tom said this looks exactly like a plan someone makes before a divorce. It is like a playbook. Everything new she does, like her podcast or her book, is owned only by her. Harry has no part in it. Tom Bauer has a very specific idea of when this will all happen. He thinks divorce papers will be filed within 6 months of January 2026. He chose that time for a reason. In California, you have to live there for 6 months before you can legally get a divorce. Meghan has already lived there long enough to check that box. When the papers are finally filed, the secret rule in the marriage agreement starts working. It is not a slow process. Suddenly, the rules Harry signed will decide who gets the money. This is when things get really bad for Harry. He could lose their giant house in Montecito. It might have to be sold and the money split. That house was supposed to be his safe place, but it could just become another thing to be divided. Harry also loses control of Archewell. Remember, Meghan's name is the first one on the official papers. That was a smart move that now gives her the power. But the thing that might hurt Harry the most is his children. He might not get to keep them most of the time. The kids have lived in California their whole lives. They go to school there and have their friends there. In all the official papers, Meghan is listed as the person who takes care of them the most. She is the one who manages their lives. The court system usually wants kids to stay in the place where they are comfortable with the person who takes care of them every day. Rai even know what is happening? Does he see the trap that has been built around him? Tom Bauer thinks Harry knows that something is wrong. He can feel his marriage falling apart. But Tom does not think Harry understands the legal part of the trap. He doesn't see how the business rules and the timing all work together to leave him with nothing. People close to Harry say he feels very alone right now. He is far away from his family in England. His old friends are gone. The people who used to help him are not there anymore. Some people tried to warn him about the money risks, but Meghan always told him to keep going. Why would you tell your husband to make risky choices unless you knew the problems would only be his problem in the end? Tom Bauer's final thought is very sad. He believes Harry signed away his whole future on page 14 of that paper. Harry is only now starting to realize what he did. When you look at the facts, this does not look like an accident. It looks like the same thing that happened to her first husband, but much bigger. With her first husband, Meghan walked away with a strong career and her money safe. She never had to look back. Now the same thing is happening with Harry. The secret rule could leave Harry with almost nothing while Meghan gets the brand, the money, and the kids. She could end up owning everything they built together. Harry is a man who has had a lot of sadness in his life, and he trusted his wife to help him. He signed the papers because he loved her. So there are 3 big signs that point to the same ending. First is the PR company that helps with divorces. Second is the way Meghan moved money into her own name since 2022. Third is the timeline of the California laws and the secret marriage rule. All these pieces fit together to tell a story. Tom Bauer says it shows a plan that has been moving for years. It was a step-by-step plan. Harry is only just now waking up to see it. Some people wonder if Meghan planned this from the start or if it just happened as they grew apart. But Tom's facts show that the paperwork was ready for the end. Harry trusted her and signed where she told him to sign. Now that signature might cost him his home, his business, and his children. If Tom Bauer is right, the clock is running out very fast. What do you think? Was this a big plan from the beginning? Let me know what you think in the comments. If you want to know what happens next, hit the subscribe button. This story is not over yet. Thanks for watching.